Write in the comments where you are watching from and what time it is so I can get to know you better. To support the channel for free, do not forget to subscribe and like. Now, imagine if a single drop of your blood held a secret map to your future health. For decades, we have thought of blood types only as something we need to know for emergencies or donations. But what if that tiny letter, A, B, or O, is quietly influencing how your body fights off the most feared disease in the modern world? Research shows that your blood type might be whispering clues about your cancer risk. Today, we decode the hidden language of your veins to uncover what your blood type secretly says about your cellular destiny, and more importantly, how you can take back control of your health. Section 1. The Blood Foundation. To truly grasp this mystery, we must first look at what makes your blood unique at a microscopic level. Your blood type is determined by tiny proteins called antigens, which are simply molecular markers sitting on the outside surface of your red blood cells. Think of these antigens as biological ID badges that tell your immune system who belongs in your body and who is a foreign invader. You either possess A antigens, B antigens, both A and B together, or neither, which classifies you as type O. Research shows that these structural differences dictate how your body handles everything from the digestion of complex proteins to fighting off viral infections. While it might seem like a minor detail on a medical chart, this genetic inheritance plays a massive role in setting the foundational baseline for your overall health over the course of your entire lifetime. Section 2. Beyond the veins, but to understand the full scope of this, we have to stop thinking of blood types as just a liquid phenomenon inside your blood vessels. These specific antigens are actually present in tissues and organs all over your body. They are woven into your saliva, the lining of your respiratory tract, and the deep sensitive tissues of your digestive system. Because they are integrated into the very fabric of your vital organs, they act as the biological gatekeepers to your cellular neighborhoods. When researchers began looking closely at these specific areas, they realized that certain blood types created internal environments that were significantly more hospitable to specific types of cellular damage. This realization was the first major clue that our blood types were deeply intertwined with the development of chronic, long-term diseases. Section 3. The Immune Blind Spot. Building on that revelation, scientists began to deeply investigate how these antigen gatekeepers interact with the human immune system over decades of life. Your immune system is constantly scanning your body for abnormal cells, specifically the kind that could eventually mutate and turn into tumors. Studies suggest that certain blood type antigens might accidentally camouflage these dangerous mutating cells. If a rogue cell develops a surface texture that looks too much like your own native blood type antigen, your roaming immune system might just walk right past it, assuming it is friendly, normal tissue. This accidental immune blind spot is a critical biological factor in why some people might be statistically more vulnerable to certain health conditions, simply because of the molecular disguises their own bodies naturally tolerate. Section 4. The stomach cancer link. What most people get wrong, however, is assuming all blood types carry the exact same level of risk across the board. Let us look closely at stomach cancer as a prime example of this variance. Research shows that individuals possessing type A blood have a consistently higher, documented risk of developing gastric cancers. Scientists strongly believe it has to do with how the type A antigen physically interacts with a very common stomach bacterium known as Helicobacter pylori. This specific bacteria can cause severe chronic inflammation, which is a prolonged, damaging immune response that breaks down healthy tissues. It appears that type A blood uniquely creates an internal stomach environment where this specific bacteria can easily thrive, multiply, and cause far more severe cellular damage over time compared to other blood types. Section 5. The Pancreatic Puzzle. Yet the story becomes even more complex and mysterious when we shift our focus to the pancreas, an organ vital for digestion and blood sugar regulation. Pancreatic cancer is notoriously difficult to detect early and incredibly hard to treat. Studies suggest that people born with blood types A, B, and AB have a noticeably higher, measurable risk of developing this specific condition compared to those individuals with type O blood. The current medical theory is that the A and B antigens might inadvertently interfere with the body's normal, healthy, inflammatory responses within the delicate digestive tract. This incredibly subtle interference, happening silently inside the body over decades, could quietly create the perfect storm of cellular stress, allowing rogue cells in the pancreas to rapidly multiply completely unchecked. Section 6. The Type O Shield. On the flip side of this complex equation, we find the entirely unique biological situation of type O blood. Those individuals with type O blood completely lack both A and B antigens on the outer surface of their red blood cells. Research shows this notable absence might actually provide a natural protective effect against certain types of aggressive tumors, particularly those forming in the gastrointestinal tract. Because they do not possess these highly specific molecular markers, type O individuals might not harbor the exact same chronic low-grade inflammation that routinely plagues the other blood types. It is almost as if their internal cellular neighborhoods have far fewer sticky surfaces for disease-causing agents to easily latch onto, granting them a slight but meaningful statistical shield against cellular mutation. Section 7. The Inflammation Engine. Digging deeper into this fascinating protective effect, we must address the critical inflammation factor, which is the engine driving many of these risks. Inflammation is simply your body's natural alarm system, bringing necessary healing factors directly to an injury site. But when this internal alarm is constantly ringing, it actively damages your healthy DNA. Studies suggest that the A and B antigens naturally promote slightly higher baseline levels of systemic inflammation throughout the entire body. Furthermore, your gut microbiome, which is the vast community of bacteria living in your intestines, is heavily influenced by your blood type. If your blood type naturally feeds inflammatory bacteria, it acts exactly like a slow-burning fire inside your tissues, gradually wearing down the complex cellular machinery that normally prevents minor mutations from developing into life-threatening tumors. Section 8. The Clotting Complication. Compounding this serious inflammatory issue is the fascinating way different blood types naturally handle the vital process of blood clotting. Your blood absolutely needs to clot quickly to stop you from bleeding, and this process relies on specific sticky proteins floating in your veins. Research shows that people walking around with non-O blood types have naturally higher, measurable levels of these sticky clotting proteins. While this is incredibly good for rapid wound healing, hyperactive clotting can actually help hidden tumors spread to new locations. Dangerous cancer cells traveling loosely through the bloodstream can actively use these sticky clotting factors to securely anchor themselves to entirely new tissues, essentially hitching a convenient ride on your body's natural repair mechanisms to aggressively colonize new areas of your body. Section 9. Taking back control. Knowing all of this heavy information, you might be feeling a deep sense of unease right now, but biological knowledge is always your greatest medical advantage. The actionable insight here is absolutely not to panic about the random genetic lottery you were born into, because your lifestyle choices completely overshadow your blood type. Research shows that violently reducing systemic inflammation through diet is the ultimate key. Prioritizing a daily diet rich in powerful antioxidants, found primarily in dark leafy greens and fresh berries, effectively neutralizes damaging molecules inside your body. You can use daily nutrition and consistent exercise to manually override the negative inflammatory tendencies written deeply into your genetic code. You cannot change your blood type, but you absolutely have total control over the internal environment you create for your cells. Section 10. The Future of Your Health. In conclusion, this specific biological knowledge should heavily empower your personal approach to proactive medical screening and body awareness. If you know your specific blood type carries a slightly higher statistical risk for digestive issues, you can have highly open, serious conversations with your doctor. Pay strict attention to your body's signals, like persistent heartburn or unexplained abdominal pain, as these are your internal check engine lights flashing. Modern science is constantly evolving toward a bright future of deeply personalized medicine where treatments are tailored to your exact molecular makeup. Until that day finally arrives, stay deeply curious, stay fiercely proactive, and always remember that while your blood type is an important chapter in your biological story, you are the one holding the pen that writes the ending.